We're back for part 4 of our 4-week-long limited budget food challenge. So last week we went shopping at Aldi's. We took £20 and we had to buy food for the whole week and plan to have a few items left over, including some herbs and spices. So far we shopped at Lidl's, Asda's and Aldi's. This week we're going to go to Morrisons and pick up £20 worth of food shopping. Then when we get back, I'm going to go over and review what we have left over from weeks 1, 2 and 3. Watch parts 1, 2 and 3. You can always drop back and watch them ones beforehand, or you can just watch this as a standalone video. Each week we go to a different store, we make different meals, 3 meals a day with the ingredients we have. I'm going to get myself to Morrisons. I'm going to share with you what we pick up from the shop, and hopefully we can have a good week with some exciting meals, a lot of experimentation with recipes. And at the end of it, the last week, hopefully we'll have some items left over to incorporate into our store cupboards. Let's go through what I've managed to buy from Morrisons. First off, I don't like Morrisons. In fact, I'm not going to Morrisons through choice again. I just don't like it. It's the amount of the cheaper items are all out of stock because everyone must just buy them because everything else is so ridiculously priced, and it's mostly branded stuff. And I just think, I don't know, going to upset a few people, but I think it's a bit uppity, my opinion. We shop at Lidl's and now Aldi's because Aldi's was good the other week, wasn't it, Vic? But yeah, no thank you, Morrisons. Big no thank you. 2 kilograms of white potatoes, 2 pints of milk, 1 Savoy cabbage, some baked beans. Always need baked beans. This was expensive, but I want to carry on with my baking and cooking, so some unsalted butter. They do a wonky range though, I'll give them that. That's what I'm going to allow Morrisons, Vicky. Wonky parsnips. I've got a load of fresh fruit and veg this week. Up my game a bit. 18 plus pork thick sausages. I had a few reduced vegetables at the end. So £1.30 for 2 avocados down to 39p. I picked up some crumpets, quick and easy, which we store in the cupboards just because it's a simple thing to make for dinner. Is some spicy vegetable couscous, 1 tin of tuna chunks, some more self-raising flour. I know I've got quite a lot of plain flour left over, which you'll see with what's left over from weeks 1, 2 and 3, but I'm really heavily into the baking now that I've got to week 4, and I want to make some more flatbreads. And another reason why I want to make flatbreads is for our herbs and spice, shawarma seasoning. It says ideal with chicken halloumi, But I think if we stick some of this in with the flatbread recipe, so salt, coriander, onion, cumin, garlic powder, paprika, smoked paprika, turmeric, cinnamon, porcini mushroom powder, black pepper, clove, and an anti-caking agent. I don't know what that's about. And oregano, or oregano.
However you want to say it.
Now, however you want to say it. I get told off on the channel for saying words weird. It's because I'm trying to cater for everyone. I think I said basil and basil for like multiple times in one video. That will go, anyway, stop waffling. That will go really nicely with the self-raising flour flatbreads. Some wonky carrots. I know I turn to carrots quite a lot in these challenges. Carrots are really good for you anyway. Some Savers pasta sauce. Some Savers plum tomatoes. There was no chopped tomatoes available. That's just the same thing really, isn't it? Just not chopped up. Double baked bean week. Gonna garden peas. Some celery. Because I've got onions, I've got celery, I've got carrot. I want to try and make a vegetable stock this week. Savers fish fillets. So these are, it says cooked from frozen. It's bassa fish. It's a cheap budget version to save money, isn't it? But there's quite a few pieces of white fish in there. Thought it'd be interesting to try and make some meals out of that. A treat for the week. So in week 3 my treat for the week was dark chocolate. Week 2 was granola, and week 1 was crumpets. Although I just realised I treated that as a treat, and then in week 4 I just went and bought the crumpets. Oh well. My treat for the week is some chow mein stir fry sauce. Morrisons chow mein stir fry sauce. I'm gonna have a go at making my own noodles with flour, salt and water, because apparently that's all you need to make noodles. I'm gonna give it a go. Instead of buying ramen this week, I'm gonna try and make it. And if I've got time permitting, I might even try and make some pasta. I've got some really lovely looking apples here. I was going to buy a cheap pack of apples for 99p, and then I saw that there was some reduced gala apples for 56p. So that's a food haul. Got some fresh fruit, we've got some fresh veg, got some good stuff like avocados on the go, parsnips, loads of stuff. Now, I'm going to show you the receipt. But first of all, I need to say something. First of all, I want to know if this is included. I'm going to put it up on the comment section before I start filming and using it. But Morrisons don't do the pound coin for your trolley. So I went to Morrisons and there's trolleys everywhere. So I pulled up towards the back of the car park, and I noticed in the trolley someone had left a pepper. So they'd abandoned their trolley but left one of their peppers in there. Now, is that going to be classed as free food? Because I picked it up, because I don't know if they would have just chucked it, launched it in a bin when the trolley man picked it up. It's in good condition. I dropped it on the floor myself when I picked it up, so I'm to blame for that little blemish there. But will that count as free food? I'm going to put it on the channel comments, channel post. I'm going to ask people to vote. If they say yes, it's going to be in there. If they say no, it's just going to go into the household food. Go through the receipt quickly. One thing I do need to mention is I bought a bag for life. Now, I don't normally buy these bags for life, 60p, but I bought it for the purposes of doing the thumbnail, because the last few I've held up a bag from the shop. So Aldi's had their completely compostable bags as the bag for life and Lidl's bag for life. So I did buy one for the purposes of that. So we need to discount the 60p for that. British whole milk, £1.25. Self-raising flour, 78p. Savers crumpets, 45p. The seasoning, so the most expensive shop I've been to for herbs and spices, £1.25. The tuna, 55. The sausages, £3. The couscous was 54p. The parsnips were 74p. The avocados reduced item was 39p. The Savers fish fillets was £2.16. The stir fry sauce was 55p. The garden peas 28. The Savers peaches was 37. Where's the Savers peaches? Hang on, they've rolled out in the car. Right, so I almost lost the peach slices, so I was nearly up a pepper and down peach slices. They rolled out the bag in the car. So peach slices 37p, plum tomatoes 45p, Savoury's baked beans 2 times 52p, unsalted butter 1.99, celery 75p, the gala apples reduced to 56p, white potatoes £1.55, pasta sauce 47p, wonky carrots 53, Savoy cabbage 75. Came in at £20 and 48p minus the 60p for the bag for the thumbnail. That made it £19.88, well within budget. There's a lot of food there, and I've got a lot of food left over, but this is going to give me loads of options for cooking this week. I'm really excited for week 4. I'm going to show you what's left over. So this is going to be a snippet of what we took account of at the end of part 3. And then I'll see you in the kitchen for one breakfast. Right guys, so let's have a little sum up of what's left over at the end of this week 3 challenge. We'll start with the fridge stuff. So we've got 8 onions left from the wonky brown onions, 4 mushrooms, 2 potatoes, 3 lots of bacon, the last beetroot, the last lonely pear, some sweet potato mash, which is now going to go in the freezer, 2 eggs, 3/4 of the fat-free natural yogurt, half the block of the cheese and the tomato puree. Freezer wise, we've got 2 more packs of the bacon, the frozen banana and some green beans. We're down to about 1/4 of the bag now. Cupboards wise, we've got 3/4 of the sage and onion stuffing mix, 6 sachets of fast action yeast, still a considerable amount of the coffee, where I'm only having 1 coffee a day, most days that is, a small amount of the granola, 1/3 of the pack of the porridge oats, most of our plain flour, so we'll get round to using that in week 4, about 1/4 of a bag of the strong white bread flour, a whole pack of red lentils, 1/4 of a bag of the white long grain rice, 1/4 of the peanut butter, 3/4 of the gravy granules for meat, loads of the real mayonnaise bottle left, the breadcrumbs left over after making the chicken from the rolls we made in week 3, a tin of chickpeas, peeled potatoes, a tin of spaghetti hoops, a tin of red kidney beans, half the dark chocolate bar, a tin of sardines, just under half of our loaf of bread we made with Italian herbs. This is what's left of our 3 condiments and sachets, and finally what we've built up for our herbs and spices. We've got medium curry powder, garam masala, some piri piri seasoning and some Italian style mixed herbs. That's everything from weeks 1 to 3 combined with the stuff we just bought for weeks 4. I think you'll find we've got plenty of variety, and we're going to have enough left over to fill pantry store cupboard by the end of week 4. I'm going to get this all put away. I'm going to plan out my meals for the week. I'll see you for breakfast in the morning. I'm going to have the last of the granola with some milk for breakfast. I've literally just got back from the allotment. We've got a storm coming today, so I wanted to get as much done as possible down there. I thought I'd share with you guys what I've harvested. Now, if you're following the channel and not just my budget challenges, I do recommend you have a look at my journey down to self-sufficiency and growing your own. I'm going to eat my granola. I've got to go do the family food shop today, so I'm going to do that. I'm having lunch a little bit later today because I had to go pick my daughter up from work. Going to make a sausage McCrumpet. So it's going to be like a sausage McMuffin from McDonald's, but we're going to make some sausage patties, and I'm going to put it between 2 crumpets. I might slice them down and make them thinner. I'll work that one out in a minute. First of all, we're going to take the skin off the sausages and just use the meat. So these are relatively cheap sausages because of the budget. Then I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to add a bit of flour as well, just to dry it out a little bit for when I make it into the patties. Been rush this weekend so far. Put a bit of flour in there. I was gonna have an egg with it, but I've only got 2 eggs left for the rest of the week. So I think I'm gonna save the egg for baking. Smash the sausages up a bit. Still a bit wet. I don't know if you can hear that outside, but it's absolutely tipping it down. Very glad I went to the allotment early this weekend. Will I get 2? So I've got 2 patties. I'm going to stick them on the George Foreman grill and sort out the crumpets. Right, so I've made the 2 patties in the George Foreman. I've toasted 2 crumpets. I was going to cut them, but as you can see, the Aldi budget brand crumpets are quite thin as they are. I don't have any ketchup sachets left. I'm not allowed to. I'm not going to any restaurants, cafes, takeaways while I'm on the challenge, and obviously I'm week 4 now, so I don't have any ketchup left. I didn't buy any. I've got loads of mayo, but I don't really want mayo in it, so I'm just going to improvise and use some tomato puree. Just going to give it that tomato ketchup flavour anyway. Just going to add that on, and then we've got a double sausage McCrumpet, I'm calling it. There we go, sausage double. I'm not sure if that works or not, but I'll give it a little taste test. Delicious. It would fill me up till dinner time. I'm going to enjoy this. I'll see you back in the kitchen when we make some fish pie. Right, so I'm just going to make a quick and easy fish pie. So I'm just going to make a white sauce. So we're going to take some of our butter. Let that melt down. Then you add a little bit of flour. Then we're just going to add some milk. I've got some parsley I'm going to use, so I'm going to make like a parsley sauce for it. Then I'm going to chuck in the fish. I've got 3 pieces of the fish, which leaves us another 3 for a different meal. So it says cooked directly from frozen. I've got it out, and I'm just going to cut it up. Now that the butter's pretty much melted down, we're going to add a little bit of flour. I don't want to make too much sauce, I only want enough to make the 1 fish pie. We're going to use the leftover sweet potato mash because it will work just as well as normal potato, and the leftover breadcrumbs. So in week 3 we made bread rolls. I blitzed some down and I made like a chicken schnitzel, and I froze these down. I took these out this morning so we can do like a breadcrumb topping, and then we're just going to combine the flour with the butter. Once that's combined, we're just going to add some of our milk. Like I said, I don't want to make too much, a little bit at a time, but I don't want to add too much milk because I need some for coffee and stuff in the week as well. Now that the sauce is starting to thicken up really nice and thick, I'm going to chuck the fish in. I'm sure there's many ways of making fish pie. I'm sure I probably made this wrong, but this is how I've always done it for a quick and easy fish pie. I'm going to add in some salt and pepper, and I'm going to add in a decent amount of parsley. This is what it looks like, with a thick sauce, like a parsley sauce. So I've got the fish in the parsley sauce. We've got the mash. Now I could have done with a bit more mash, but I'll make do with what I've got. And then I'm just going to add the breadcrumbs on top. So stick that in the oven until it's golden on top and crispy, pulling over a bit. But there we go, there's the fish pie with the green beans. Could have done with some more mash. My bad. Improvised fish pie. Looking forward to tucking into that. I'm actually really hungry. So breakfast on day 2, and a great way of using up some of the bread as it's starting to go a little bit stale is some toast with butter and sardines in tomato sauce from the tin. I absolutely love sardines on toast. Nice big breakfast to keep me going for the morning. So we're going 50-50 yogurt to flour ratio. It doesn't matter how much you use as long as it's 50-50. Then I'm going to add some oil. I'm just guesstimating today. Can you tell I'm in one of their moods? And a load of the shawarma seasoning mix. It smells amazing. I'm going to put a fair bit in there. Get a spoon, going to mix it all together till it combines into a dough. Needed the mixture with the spices in it, smells incredible. I'm going to separate it down. It's a lot darker yellow colour because of the herbs. I'm going to batch make these. I'm going to try and make these as thin as possible as well today. Some of the ones I've been making recently have been really thick. And then once we've got these ready to go in, I'm going to use some chickpeas and some beetroot, and I'm going to make a hummus, which is something someone recommended on the channel itself. So let's roll this one out. I'm going to heat the pan up. I'm not going to add any oil because a few of you said that you don't use oil when you cook yours, and I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. So the first one we're going to trial without any oil. Right, that's pan size. I'm going to drain these off into a container. I've been told the chickpea water is a good replacement when you haven't got eggs. It'll be good to practice and try using them. I'm just going to fish out the chickpeas. We're going to add the chickpeas. In goes the beetroot. Ideally I'd like to use fresh garlic, but I haven't got that, so we're going to put in some garlic granules, a little bit of pepper as well, and from the cupboards, well from the fridge, we're going to add some lemon juice with a pinch of salt, and then we're going to blend that up. Need to add a bit of oil to the mixture. Check out the colour. Let's get this out into a little container. So we have some beetroot chickpea hummus, which actually tastes stunning. Check on this flatbread. Right, so that one's done. I'm now going to try it with some oil, compare the two just to see what the difference is like. So I'm just finishing up cooking up the last of the flatbreads. I've got the hummus, an apple, and I've got the flatbread here. This is without oil, and then this one is with the oil. I prefer the oiled one. It's got slightly crispier outside to it. This hummus is lovely, by the way. Thank you for the recommendation in the comments. I'm gonna have my lunch and chill out for a bit. This weekend's been manic. I haven't had time to do the noodles. I will get round to it at some point, but it's not happening today. I've taken some of the cabbage, some carrots, some pepper, a section of the pepper. I'm saving just over half for a stuffed pepper. So I've got some mushrooms, some of the celery chopped up fine, some of the onion, and we're going to make that into a vegetable chow mein. So that's going to go in the wok. But first of all, oh yeah, just so everyone knows, because I'm getting into the stock situation at the moment, I've saved some of the celery, a couple of bits of cuts of the cabbage, carrots and the onion ends, ready to make a vegetable stock in the week. So what I'm doing is I'm chucking that in there, and then that's going in the freezer. These 3 of the sausages up, but I want them, I don't want the skin again. Skin's alright when you're having them as a sausage, but I'm just using them as cheap meat, form of meat, I guess. I'm going to chop these into little chunks and they can go in first. Then we'll add the veg. Then we're mixing the sauce. The sausages are crisped up. Just going to go ahead and chuck in all the veg. Let that cook down for a minute. Now that's cooked down a bit, I'm just going to add in the chow mein mix. Get every last bit out of it. There we have a vegetable sausage chow mein. Not quite a Chinese takeaway, but it's close enough and it's very tasty. Breakfast this morning, I've got 2 coffees on the go because it's super early on a Monday that I have to go to work. So I've got my coffee to go and I've got a coffee for now. And then I've decided, because I need to use up what's left of the bread, I'll start the empties in the freezer just in case I need some breadcrumbs. But I've just toasted what's left of the bread. Toasting always helps when your bread's going slightly stale. And I've just mashed up an avocado, because where this has got Italian herbs and stuff on it, I figured egg or avocado was probably the better option. So avocado on toast for me this morning. But I'm going to stop waffling and get to work. So lunch today is what's left of the beetroot chickpea hummus. Some of the flatbreads I cooked up yesterday. I've got an apple for later, I'm not having it all in one go. I've got some celery to dip in the hummus, and I've got some carrots as well. Quite a healthy lunch today, isn't it? Just realised I've been recording without my mic on again. Just to recap you of what I'm actually doing, I've got one of the cooking bacons and I've crisped it all up. I'm going to chuck in some cabbage, some sliced apple. We're just making like a crunchy salad. And then I'm going to do some pan fried fish. So we're going to get a bit of butter. I just think fish cooks better in butter. Use the same pan the bacon was in. And we're going to chuck in some fish. I've chopped and prepared a couple of potatoes. I was talking whilst I was doing it, so I should have really paid attention to the fact that I didn't have the mic on. But I've left the skin on, I've chopped it down into fries, and I'm just doing some dirty fries. I was just mentioning in the video that I fancied something a bit random today. I fancied some pan fried spicy fish, a crunchy salad, and some chips. And then tomorrow I'm going to do sausage and mash. And then I'm going to grate some carrot as well. Just grating down some carrot. Add some mayo. And then mix it all together. So there we have some chili fish with a homemade coleslaw style salad with bits of bacon, some apples, celery, onion, cabbage, all sorts going on in there. With mayonnaise. That salad's really nice with the crunchiness. Let's try the fish. It's got a really nice chili kick to it. And then we've got the homemade chips as well. Decent dinner with plenty of coleslaw left over for tomorrow's lunch. I think I might just knock up one of those packets of the packet of couscous to have for that for lunch for tomorrow. That's me done. Mondays are hectic, get back late, disorganised. I'm happy with today. Gonna call it a day, and I'll see you in the kitchen for breakfast. Breakfast on day 4 is a couple of the crumpets with some butter on it. a coffee. I'm just going to make another coffee to go. And I'm going to get to work. I've used half, saved half. And the salad with some of the flatbreads we made the other day. So yeah, I'll see you at lunchtime. For lunch I've got, well, it's all mashed together a little bit now, but I've got what's left over of the coleslaw style salad from last night, half the bowl of couscous and some of the flatbread. There's only a little bit of flatbread left, but that'll do me for lunch for today. And then it's sausage mash with onion gravy for tea tonight. Got to mention I've got an apple as well for later on. Some potatoes for sausage and mash, and I've not seen this in a potato before. It's kind of soft in the middle, but yeah, that's a new one, and it's on what, I've had 5 potatoes like this so far. Not good. These are the Morrisons potatoes. Right, sausage mash and onion gravy for tea tonight. Tomorrow I'm gonna make up a stock to start with some scraps from the week: celery, carrot, bit of cabbage, and lots of onion scraps in there. So that's going to happen tomorrow while I'm at work. Someone gave me some advice and said that you can cook up the potato skins to make a snack. So we're going to try that. So I put a little bit of olive oil on them and some spices. Going to stick them in the air fryer. Going to whack some sausages in the air fryer as well. Got potatoes on. I'm going to do some green beans. That's the last of the green beans. I'm going to do some onion. I'm also, unusually for me, I'm in the mood for a pudding. And I'm thinking, why don't we make a peach crumble? Because we've got some butter, I've got some flour, and I can use a bit of sugar from the cupboard. Start by getting out all the sugars. I'm quite happy using the sweeteners for my coffee. Got a few of them left, but we're going to use up all the different sugars we've collected because we are towards the end of the 4 weeks. This is going to be to make the topping for the pudding, for the crumble. Just going to keep an eye on those potato skins as well, because I don't want them to get too burnt. I want them crispy, like crisps, but I don't want them burnt. There's the sugar. Add some flour. That'll do. Then we're going to add some butter. Then I'm going to go for a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla. And then we're just going to make that, make sure the butters and the flour and the sugar's all combined. And we just keep going until we got rid of all the bigger bits of the clumps. Right, let's move that to the side for a minute because the potatoes are done. Going to fry the onions. In with the potatoes, we're going to add a bit more, some of the butter. Some pepper, a splash of milk, and a pinch of salt. Give that a good old mash. So the sausages are crisped up, cooked in the air fryer, and they're crisped up with some of the onions. I'm just going to add in the gravy mix. Oniony goodness off the bottom of the pan. One thing I do like is a lot of pepper in my gravy. Probably an excessive amount. It's just for me anyway, so. I'm going to have this and then I'll get back to finishing off the crumble. Sausage mash with an onion gravy and green beans, and then I'll get back and do the pudding. Right, so we're going to make the, so I'll stick the light on so you can see what I'm doing. The peach crumble. This isn't a fancy recipe, this is just, I wanted to show you guys how quickly you can make a pudding. Not that I eat a lot of puddings, but in fact let's just tip that in. Look at that, these little trays. Again, a little 99p shop find. These have lasted me years. I make little macaroni cheeses in these and all sorts. Right, so there we go. So we've got the peaches in the sauce, which is a light syrup, which will go lovely and gooey in the oven. We're just going to add the crumble over the top. So obviously I've been cooking dinner in between, but it was literally just some butter, some flour, some sugar, and then I added a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla. You don't need to add them though. You could just literally use any sugar, flour and butter. And then you mix it together until it makes a crumble. And then we're just going to load this up like so. Then we're going to stick it in the oven until the top gets all crispy and crunchy. Simple, isn't it? Simple food by a simple man. You've got to laugh at yourself. There we go. Stick that in the oven. I'll probably say 30 minutes, but we'll keep an eye on it. Gives me time to wash up and debate whether I'm going to make custard. I'm going to share with you a super quick and easy way of making custard, which requires just using some milk, 200 mils of milk. So we add about half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of sugar, one whole egg, and 1 tablespoon of corn flour. And then all you do is combine until everything's thoroughly mixed together. Once you're happy that everything's combined, you pour the mixture into a saucepan and then you heat it up whilst continually stirring to ensure that nothing sticks to the bottom and that the custard thickens. There we go. So the key to the custard is to continuously stir it. You can always add a bit more milk if you want it a bit runnier, but I think thick custard is always best, and the trick is to always continuously stir. But there you go, there's a nice quick easy way of making custard. Right, so that's the custard. Let's get that crumble out, should be ready by now. I'm going to serve this up and I'm going to get my son to give it a go, because he'd be very disappointed if you missed out on trying a crumble. So there we have a peach crumble with homemade custard. I'm just going to plate myself one up. Right, I'm joined by my son because it is known throughout the land that you are a crumble connoisseur.
Ooh, it's hot.
Yeah, so do you want to try the custard first? Let me know what you think of the custard. That good custard?
Amazing nice.
I made that.
That's insane.
That's homemade custard.
Oh my god.
Better than shop bought.
Easily.
Lovely.
Easily.
Try some of the crumble. Be careful though, don't burn yourself.
Can I just try a bit of that?
Try a bit of that, yeah, that's peach. A little bit of the crumble.
Very nice.
Good.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Favorite thing you've ever made.
Wowzers. For real?
Yeah.
Wow
You
then.
that yourself.
Yeah, I made that all myself and that's all for you.
Cheers. Alright, thank you, bud.
You're welcome. There you go, that was a success. He's taken the lion's share of the crumble. I've got a bowl with some custard. I only fancy pudding today. There's no point me saving custard or crumble because it's only once in a blue moon that I want a treat or a pudding. But this is really tasty. Super easy to make custard. My mum taught me how to make custard when I was little. I'm going to get off my butt and teach him how to make it because he thoroughly enjoyed it. It's easy to take the lazy option sometimes and just buy shop bought, but sometimes a little bit of effort and you realise how tasty it is when you make your own. I don't often make a pudding on these challenges. I've made one and my boy said it was a 10 out of 10. The breakfast today is just a simple porridge with a pinch of salt. And then I've made up a stock which is going to go in the slow cooker. Is the trimmings of the carrots, the cabbage, celery and onion. But I've also added in a couple of small chopped carrots, a whole onion diced into four with the skin on, and a stick of celery to go in just to beef it up a little bit. And I put some parsley and thyme. I don't have fresh, so I've just used dried, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Let's leave that on all day, on low, and then see how we get on. Lunch today, I've got what was left over of the couscous. I've got what's left over of the flatbread, an apple. Also something I wanted to show you. I forgot to show you last night. Hang on. I made some of those crispy potato skins as a snack. I spiced them with a bit of pepper and salt as well. These are the skins left over from the mashed potato we had last night. It works, it's really good. A little bit annoyed that I didn't do it with the sweet potato skin. I just completely forgot. I didn't realise I could do it. I didn't think to do it. So, but yeah, these are delicious little snacks. Perfect to use up the potato skins. So the vegetable stock's been in all day. It smells really good actually. I'm just going to see what it looks like. Give it a taste. Yeah, decent kind of vegetable flavour. Probably needs a little bit more salt, seasoning wise, but quite happy with that. So tonight we're going to have some pizza, crumpets and some stuffed jacket potatoes. This is going to get put aside for tomorrow, and I'll either do a soup, sauce, a lentil stew or congee. I'll decide tomorrow. Right, so I've got some of the jacket skins. So these jacket potatoes just had a little bit of salt on them and they went in the air fryer. I've got the stuffing mix. I've chucked in a little bit of the cheese, and I've chucked in the potato from inside the jackets. And then we're going to add a little bit of mayonnaise and pepper. You could add some garlic, salt as well if you want to. Mix this all up. Then we take the filling and put it back in to the skins. Then these are going to go back in the air fryer to crisp up. Our pizza crumpets and some potato skins with stuffing, Wensleydale cheese, a little bit of mayo and mash. I think I explained that properly. Anyway, that's my dinner. Breakfast for day 6 is a sea of baked beans. The other reduced avocado was just getting to the point where it was going to go bad, so I've chopped a little bit off the end and we're just having it with a bit of salt and pepper. And 4 sausages. Big breakfast because all I'm having for lunch is the defrosted soup I made the other day. Lunch is the soup. I'm still quite full from breakfast with all the baked beans, sausages and the avocado, so soup would do me, see me through to tonight. We're going to make some potato gnocchi using just potatoes, an egg and some all-purpose plain flour. Let's get started. First things first, we need 225 grams of potato, and it's best if we just peel the potatoes first, chop them and then weigh them to make sure we've got the right measurements. I'll put a little post up saying I bought some new boards. These have got little rubber bits on them because I know a few of my lovely community were worried about it slipping. Oh. So hopefully this won't move as much, although there is a bit of movement. Mind you, I'm physically trying to move it on. Right, stop waffling. I feel like I've been a bit lax on trying new things this week. So tonight we're going to make some potato gnocchi. I went all in on week 3 and really made the effort with baking. I feel like I've taken my foot off the accelerator a bit this week. We're going to try something I've wanted to try for quite some time and make some gnocchi. The recipe I'm working from would have had 450 grams with 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour. Because I'm working with 1 egg, I've just halved the ingredients. Some of these potatoes are naff. I can honestly say I'm not a fan of Morrisons. Look. That's enough, I'm not even bothered with that one. I don't even know what that is. Did anyone know what that is? I'm going to grab the last few potatoes, hopefully they haven't got the black marks in them, and then I'm going to chop these up into about an inch cubes. Try and make them about the same size so that they all cook at the same time. And so we've got 225 grams of potato. Bring this up to the boil and then cook it until it is fork soft. So we don't want it to be mashed potato, but when we push a fork into it, we want it to separate. Potatoes have cooked to the point where they need to be there, they can be forked through. I basically want them cooked to the point where the fork will go through like that. If we cook them too much further than that, then they have too much water in them, so it's not going to work. I'm just going to allow that to cool down for 10 minutes. Right, so the potatoes are cooled down. We're going to put them into a sieve, and we're going to push them through the sieve to make sure there's no lumps, because we want it as smooth as we can possibly get it. Scrape off all the potato which has come through. And then to this mixture, we're going to add 1 cup of plain flour, and then we're going to add 1 egg. Fork, just going to break the egg up. Using a fork, we're just going to mix everything together into a rough or shaggy dough. In the bowl with the fork just means, it just helps to make it less messy. We formed a shaggy dough. We're going to get our hands in there, and we're just going to knead it till we get a rough ball. Flour the surface and our hands, and now we're going to knead the dough properly. Now we're going to divide the dough into 3 parts. So while we're working one piece, we're just going to cover the other 2, and now we're going to roll the first one out. So we've got it rolled out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to roughly cut into sections. And because it's still quite sticky, just going to give them a light dusting of flour. Then we're going to take the individual pieces, we're going to place them, and then we're just going to drag our thumb down over the top to make, because we don't have a gnocchi board for making them. Why would I have a gnocchi board if I've never made these before? We're just placing it, not too hard, but we're just firm enough that it leaves an imprint. I'm just going to place the gnocchi on a floured surface, and I'm just going to repeat this for each piece. So as I finish up making the last of the gnocchi, the reason why we do the little grooves is because it helps to hold some of the sauce. By no means uniform or perfect, they don't need to be. We can call them rustic. Some water up to the boil. Just going to add a little bit of salt. We're cooking a third at a time into the hot water. Cook them until they rise to the surface, then we know they're done. We don't want to overload the pan because we don't want them all to clump together. While the gnocchi's cooking, just going to make a really quick sauce. I'm going to use the pasta sauce, but just to make it a little bit more special, if we've gone to the effort to make the gnocchi, I figured we'd add a few roasted vegetables. We've got the pepper, just chuck that in, 1 roasted carrot, a roasted onion, add a little bit of garlic salt, and give that a blend. With that blended down, we can add that to a pan, start heating that through, and then we can drain off the first batch of gnocchi. That's the last of the gnocchi cooked. So just going to drain that off. Cooked through. Now we're just going to add them to the sauce. Some cracked black pepper and some fresh basil. Sprinkle over the top. Homemade gnocchi with a pasta sauce. Let's give it a taste test. Delicious. Really happy with how that's turned out. To quickly mention, my eyes were bigger than my belly when it come to the gnocchi. There's more than enough. I'm totally full. It's actually really substantial. Of course it would be. It's potato and flour. But there's enough for lunch. Finishing the 4-week challenge on good old porridge in water. And then I've made up a load of veg in with the vegetable stock. Some onions, some parsnips, some carrots, some celery. We're going to do a nice thick hearty vegetable soup for tonight. Bit of a late one for lunch today on the last day because work's just been absolutely horrendous today. So I'm having this at about 3 p.m. because I haven't had a chance to stop. Tonight we're going to do, I've got the soup on the go from this morning. To try and make some rolls with plain flour because someone wrote a comment saying you can make rolls with plain flour. It's just got less gluten in it. So we'll give that a go, I think, just as to end off week 4. And then I need to have a little think about whether what I'm gonna do next. Whether I'm gonna continue using the stuff I've got left over, do like a zero shop or something. I don't know. I need to think about it when I get back later. But yeah, late lunch on the last day of the challenge. I've just got home to this soup, and honestly, I normally just chuck veg in with water at the beginning of the day, but I can tell you that the vegetable stock I made in advance, it's just in the smell, everything, it's just enhanced the soup. I'm going to put some of this into the blender. So I put a load into the blender to get it in, to blend it down, and I've held back some of the stock because I'm going to use this to make some really tasty ramen tomorrow. Load of pepper. Going to give this a taste test. That's probably one of the nicest vegetable soups I've made, genuinely. It's got a lot more depth to it and flavour. It's just really nice. Quite dark in colour, but the flavour in it is really good. Right, the week's come to an end, and that is the end of the 4-week limited budget food challenge. Let's take a look at what's left over. I haven't done the bread rolls. I didn't have an opportunity to make the bread rolls last night. Something come up to do with my son and cutting his foot, long story, but things get in the way, life gets in the way. It is quite challenging to do all this filming. As much as I love doing it, it does take up a lot of time. For that reason, I'm not going to do an extended week on this budget challenge. I'm going to give myself a full week off. So it's not so much the cooking and doing the food budget, which is the challenge when it comes to doing these challenges. It's the fact that I have to film and edit everything. I enjoy doing them, but I have got to the point where after doing it 4 weeks straight, I'm just going to give myself a week off to have a break. Doesn't mean I won't be sharing any content. I'm going to do a couple of 3 ingredient recipes because I've really enjoyed doing them. I'm going to stop waffling. Let's go through. So tin food wise, we've got red kidney beans, spaghetti hoops. I believe they were week 1. So they've made it through the 4 weeks. They were just a backup. Got tin of baked beans, tin of garden peas, some plum tomatoes, and the peeled potatoes never made an appearance throughout the whole thing. And I know I had a comment saying they were looking out for the peeled potatoes. They didn't make it this week. And I'm sure there will be tin potatoes in a future challenge. The tin of tuna chunks. Moving on to the cupboard stuff, we've got a quarter of the peanut butter, half the gravy granules, just under half the gravy granules. We've got a small amount of the sage and onion stuffing mix. We've got 6 packs of the fast action yeast, half the plain flour, just under half the coffee, so that's lasted a long time, especially if only having 1 coffee a day, maybe 2 every now and again. The seasoning sachet for the noodles, some of the butter, not much of the butter left, half the dark chocolate, which I'm going to donate to Vicky, a fair amount of the mayonnaise, So we used 1 pack of lentils over the 4 weeks, and we've got a third of the pack of red lentils there. Plenty of self-raising flour left over, so we're good for plain flour self-raising. A quarter of the rice, most of the cabbage left, so I'm going to use that up tomorrow for dinner. Again, with the carrots, we've got 3 carrots left over, 2 parsnips. Going to do a roast chicken tomorrow. Some tomato puree, 1 onion. That's probably the last onion I'm going to be buying for a while outside of challenges, because I'm getting a lot of onions in the allotment and I'm just picking them each week I go down there. A tiny piece of the cheese, and we still got some of our scavenged freebies, so we've got a little bit of marmalade there, a couple of the Marmites, some of the milk, some mayonnaise, some vinegar, and hot sauce from Taco Bell. But they'd be good because I can use them in other challenges. My microphone cut out, ran out of battery, so we've got what's left of the chickpea water. We've got the slice of the end of the loaf of bread. The banana, the frozen banana I never got round to using up. We've got 1 of the lots of cooking bacon. We've got 6 sausages. And then for the herbs and spices, we've got the medium curry powder. We've got the garam masala. We've got half the Italian mixed herbs, most of the piri seasoning. We would have had more of the curry powder, but I wasted a lot of it by not using a spoon. And then we've got the shawarma seasoning as well, and they're all going to go up onto the spice rack, my everyday use spice rack. It's been a good 4 weeks. I think week 3 was the highlight week for me. That's when I got into baking. Some of the things that I'm going to consider doing, I actually want to try some sourdough. I want to make some more bread. The kids asked me what I wanted for Father's Day, so I said, can I get some baking bits? Because there's a few things I'm lacking, like a bread loaf tray. I want a new blender because I'm using a NutriBlend, which is effectively a soup maker or a smoothie maker. And I've had it absolutely donkey's years. And my mum bought it for me about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And it's a bit touch and go. It keeps slipping. The blade keeps slipping in the mechanism. So yeah, I've asked for a few things for Father's Day based around cooking because I'm getting more into it now. So yeah, week 3 probably was the best week when it came to the meals and baking. I hope you enjoyed week 4 as well. There was the option of doing a week with no shop or just seeing how far we could get on the ingredients. But like I did say, I need a break. I've been doing a little bit of overtime at my main job, my actual job. Obviously Father's Day is coming up, and I'm just going to take a week off. Going to take a week off, and in that week, without repeating myself too much, I'm going to do some smaller videos, some free ingredients recipes and stuff like that, and I'm going to try making a few extra things. They'll all be on the channel at some point. I'm going to give myself time to do that, so I don't have to film every morning, lunchtime, evening, and try and get everything edited and sorted, and not have to worry about eating different meals to the rest of the family. I'm going to do a week of just normal eating with everyone. And in that week as well, I'm going to sit down. I'm planning out, I'm going to redo the £1 a day challenge with a few things and skills I've learned and some advice in the comments section. So that will be the week after my week off. I will do a 7-day, and obviously I'm going to be restricted on food then. So that might gear me up better for the week after, which is going to be World War II rations. And it's going to kind of go in line with the fact that certain things are coming out of the allotment now, potatoes, cabbage, carrots, the kind of things that the Dig for Victory, growing your own, kind of that whole campaign during World War II to get people being a bit more self-sufficient and supplementing their rations and the restricted foods. That's going to require a lot of research, and I'm excited about that. So I've got a load of World War II books. I've got a load of ration books. You might have seen a couple of ration recipes on the channel. I'm going to try and make sure I get it right. I'm not going to say I'm going to get it 100% right because I'm learning as I go. One of the key things is someone mentioned margarine. I was using margarine in a recipe, but during World War II, when the ration points were distributed, it was less ration points to get margarine over butter. So a lot of recipes require margarine. Food such as lard and stuff like that was used for cooking more. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm really, really buzzing for that one. And I'm going to sit down and go through all the other challenge ideas that you guys have given me, and we'll knock out some of them as well. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who's joined in, watched, commented, For those of you who've managed to get on the premieres, it's been lovely having a chat with you. I will try and be in, hopefully I will have been in for this premiere. But whenever I do a challenge, I'm going to set it as a premiere. Everything else I'll just upload. So you've got your Tuesday, your Friday, and then your Sunday uploads with all the different content I'm doing. But when it comes to the challenges, because they're a big thing and they take a lot of time and effort, a lot of filming, editing, I will try and jump in on the premieres and have a chat with you guys. You can always reach me via email as well. I do respond. I am still keeping on top of comments. It's getting harder because I'm getting more and more comments. The channel's shot up to like 7,500. It's going quite rapid. It's been a whirlwind. I just want to sum it up by saying thank you so much for watching the 4-part series. I really hope you enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I hope you guys have learned some stuff. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll hopefully see you in a future video. Thank you. Bye-bye.